Welcome to From Nothing to Glory.
The distance between desperation and triumph is rarely measured in miles, but in moments of decision. For Carlos Montero, that distance spanned from the cramped back seat of a 1998 Honda Civic to the mansions of Monaco. This isn't just another football success story. This is a testament to what happens when survival and ambition collide. When Carlos curled up to sleep in his car each night, professional contracts and championship medals existed only in dreams. The goalkeeper, with nothing but talent and determination, had no guarantee his sacrifice would lead anywhere but further hardship. Yet something within him, desperation, discipline, and unshakable belief, created the foundation for one of football's most extraordinary journeys. In a sport where privileged academy graduates often dominate the headlines, Carlos rewrote the narrative of what's possible when pure will confronts seemingly insurmountable obstacles. His story challenges our assumptions about the pathways to success and reminds us that greatness can emerge from the most unlikely circumstances. Buenos Aires, 2009. While the world grappled with the financial crisis, 19-year-old Carlos Montero faced a more immediate catastrophe. After his family lost their home in Argentina's economic collapse, the aspiring goalkeeper decided to define his life. He would pursue his football dream, even without a place to sleep. The economic meltdown that devastated Argentina didn't discriminate. Middle-class families like the Monteros watched as their stability evaporated overnight. Currency devaluation wiped out savings. Unemployment skyrocketed to 24%. Housing security became a luxury many could no longer afford. The crisis created an almost impossible choice for young athletes with professional ambitions: abandon sporting dreams for immediate survival, or risk everything on an improbable path to success. Carlos's parents, both teachers who suddenly found themselves unemployed, moved into his aunt's already crowded apartment. There was simply no space for their son. With his amateur club unable to provide housing and employment opportunities scarce, Carlos faced the prospect of abandoning his goalkeeper training to work multiple jobs, effectively ending his football aspirations before they truly began. For 8 months, Carlos lived this double life, homeless by night, aspiring professional by day. He showered at the training ground before his teammates arrived. He parked in different locations to avoid suspicion. He survived on the cheapest food possible, saving every peso for proper nutrition on game days. The Honda Civic that most would view as merely transportation became something far more significant: shelter, storage, a changing room, and a psychological sanctuary. Carlos developed a meticulous routine to maintain his dignity and focus despite his circumstances. He kept his goalkeeper gloves in perfect condition while sacrificing his own comfort. He maintained impeccable training attendance while hiding the reality of his situation from coaches and teammates alike. While physically and psychologically demanding, this period inadvertently developed traits that would later define his professional success: extreme resource efficiency, laser-like focus despite distractions, and, perhaps most importantly, a perspective that would inoculate him against the pressures of professional football. The disconnect between his living situation and athletic development defied conventional wisdom about elite performance. Sports science emphasizes proper rest, nutrition, and psychological security for athletic development. Yet Carlos was thriving despite lacking all three. His technical development accelerated while sleeping in a car seat. His tactical understanding deepened while worrying about his next meal. His mental toughness was fortified while navigating the daily challenges of homelessness. This paradox would later interest sports psychologists studying resilience in elite athletes. Was Carlos succeeding despite his circumstances, or were elements of his adversity contributing to his development? The evidence increasingly suggests the latter. His unique pathway forced adaptations and mental frameworks that traditionally developed athletes often lack. The statistics told a story that transcended his circumstances. Carlos wasn't just good, but exceptional. In a league where the average goalkeeper stopped 71% of shots on target, Carlos maintained an astonishing 87% save rate. But numbers only captured part of his story. Performance analysis revealed technical aspects that scouts would later identify as differentiating factors. His positioning consistently anticipated attacking developments 3 or 4 passes before shot attempts, an advanced tactical understanding typically associated with veterans twice his age. His communication efficiently organized defensive structures, reducing opponents' clear chances to half the league average. Perhaps most notable was his penalty-saving ability, stopping 6 of 8 faces, a 75% success rate that defied statistical probability. This skill, later his professional trademark, emerged from hundreds of hours studying shooter tendencies on borrowed library computers and practicing reaction techniques against walls in empty parking lots. Carlos created his own development program without access to professional training facilities. He studied YouTube videos of the world's best goalkeepers on public library computers. He improvised training equipment from whatever he could find. He kept meticulous notes on his performance, creating a self-coaching system that would later amaze professional trainers. This self-directed development created a goalkeeper unlike any emerging from traditional academy systems. Where academy graduates followed a structured progression, Carlos built custom solutions to technical challenges. Where talent-tracked youth received constant feedback, Carlos developed extraordinary self-awareness and analytical abilities. Where privileged prospects enjoyed psychological support, Carlos forged mental resilience through necessity. The result was a goalkeeper who reached the same destination as elite academy products, but through a path no coach would ever design or recommend. The question for scouts wasn't whether he had talent, but rather if anyone would discover it before his circumstances forced him to abandon his dream. May 15, 2010, the Buenos Aires Regional Cup Final. Unknown to Carlos, 3 scouts from professional clubs had come to watch another player. But by halftime, their attention had shifted entirely to the goalkeeper, who seemed to defy physics with his reactions. The match represented the convergence of preparation and opportunity that often defines athletic careers. Carlos had been preparing in obscurity for 8 months, refining his craft while battling circumstances that would have defeated most aspirants. Now, unexpectedly, decision-makers with the power to transform his situation witnessed his ability precisely when he delivered one of his most exceptional performances. The psychology of performance pressure creates a cruel paradox for many athletes. The more important the moment, the more likely their skills deteriorate under stress. Yet, Carlos displayed the opposite tendency. The higher the stakes, the more his performance elevated. Sports psychologists would later attribute this rare quality to his recalibrated perspective. When you've faced actual survival pressure, competitive pressure becomes manageable by comparison. The offer wasn't spectacular by football standards, a trial with Club Atlético Tigre's reserve team with a monthly salary of $1,200. But for Carlos, it represented something beyond money: validation, opportunity, and most immediately, a roof over his head. The contract's financial terms were secondary to its transformative power. Beyond the stability of housing and nutrition, it provided the psychological oxygen of validation, concrete evidence that his sacrifice had not been in vain. The professional opportunity represented not just career advancement, but vindication of his decision to pursue his dream despite the severe personal cost. For many professional prospects, signing their first contract marks the beginning of pressure and expectations. For Carlos, it marked the first relaxation he had experienced in nearly a year, a chance to focus exclusively on his craft without the constant stress of basic survival. This freedom would accelerate his development even further in the coming months. What happened next defied the conventional career trajectory of even the most talented players. Carlos's rise through professional football wasn't just rapid, but unprecedented. Traditional goalkeeper development follows predictable patterns. Most prospects spend years in youth systems before breaking into senior teams. When moving to stronger leagues, they typically require 15 to 20 matches to adapt. Even the most talented usually spend several seasons proving themselves at each level before earning opportunities at the next tier. Carlos's progression shattered these norms at every stage. Where most prospects follow a linear path upward, Carlos's trajectory was exponential. The story that began in the backseat of a Honda Civic continues to unfold in ways that extend far beyond football itself. The distance between desperation and triumph is rarely measured in miles or millions. For Carlos Montero, it's measured in the choices made when no one was watching. The discipline was maintained when no one was supporting it. In the determination sustained when the odds suggested surrender. Financial metrics tell one version of Carlos's story. The transformation from 40 to 150 million represents a numerical transformation almost beyond comprehension. But the true measure of his journey exists in dimensions no spreadsheet can capture. The perspective that transforms pressure into opportunity. The resilience that converts setback into growth. And the authenticity that remains unchanged despite external transformation. The most profound aspect of Carlos's journey is what remained constant despite everything that changed around him. The core qualities that sustained him during homelessness, discipline, determination, focus, and belief, remain the foundation of his character today. The circumstances transformed dramatically, but the essence of the man remained authentically intact. Beyond the $150 million net worth, beyond the mansion and accolades, Carlos Montero's most valuable asset remains intangible. The lived understanding that rock bottom can become the foundation for something extraordinary. A car can become a cocoon for transformation. That today's struggle, embraced with purpose, can become tomorrow's strength. The goalkeeper, who once had nothing but talent and determination, now offers something even more valuable than financial support to young athletes facing similar circumstances. He provides living proof that the distance between desperation and triumph, between darkness and possibility, often comes down to a single decision to persist when surrender seems rational. For Carlos Montero, that decision, made and remade daily in the back seat of a Honda Civic, transformed not just his own life, but the lives of thousands who would follow the path he forged from nothing to glory.